Hello everybody, welcome back. We are playing Quakecraft today. It is a couple days before Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, not behind, but the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday. And I have worked so much retail over the years, and I was just thinking about some of my funniest stories. Favorite and funniest stories. They can be a kind of a combination of both. Just favorite and funny stories from Black Fridays or just retail in general. I mean, trust me guys, okay, retail, you get so many interesting stories out of retail. Like, they're the stories that you're like, I can't believe this just happened, but because I was there, I know what happened. Yeah, so, okay, let's hear. What's the first story that comes to mind? Oh, so I worked at this store, where we sold things like candles and like, you know, different, body care and stuff like that. And we had this lady that she came in. Now, this was actually, was this 2020? It could have been 2020 or 2019. And the date is pretty important because it's before the significant event. I still don't know if the word pandemic is banned on YouTube, but hey, I just said it, so here's hoping it's not. But anyway, this lady, she came into the store, and it was very quiet at the store, so she was going to be the only person shopping there for a while. And I just, you know, I greeted her, helped her, and then I just kind of let her do her thing. But yeah, so I was just letting her do her thing, you know, just kind of checking out all the different scents that we had for different perfumes. And at some point, because like I said, okay, she was the only person in the store, it was a very slow day, and you have to be aware of the customer in the store just in case they need help, need a bag, stuff like that. And at some point, oh man, sorry guys. Okay, I've been struggling with Quake tonight. Oh, I think I said that in the last video. It's all right. It will be fine. But finally at one point, like, you know, you start paying attention and you're just like, huh, that seems kind of out of the ordinary. And all of a sudden I noticed that this lady, she was spraying the perfume on her hand, and then she was licking her hand. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting, kind of odd. I've never seen that before. And when I went to just check on her, see if she was doing all right and stuff, she explained, she's like, what her method to her madness was. But yeah, no. So she was explaining to me how she wanted to test each of the perfumes to see if it would be a good fit for her skin. Now, when it comes to trying to test out perfumes and all that, everybody's bodies are different when it comes to how they react to different scents. And so there's certain perfumes that maybe a person might pull more vanilla with them, or maybe they'll pull more of the floral notes. And so it's very important for customers to try on the different scents, and then they know if they'll like it or not. Because sometimes you like the scent when you're like just smelling it, but then when you actually put it on, you're like, that did not smell like that when I put it on, and you like hate it or something. So I'm always like, oh yes, try it on your skin, you know, that kind of thing. But this was the first time I'd ever seen anybody like test it on their skin and then lick it. And she explained that the reason why she licked it is she heard that if it's sweet, then it means it's a good compliment for her, like how her body will react to it. But then if it was like sour, then she knows it would be a bad fit for her to wear. And I was like, well, that's really interesting. And I'm not saying that there's no science behind that, because I did end up Googling it later, and it definitely said that it's a thing. But personally, I do not... I don't support it usually. Like, I wouldn't support it. I wouldn't encourage it. I guess that's the word. I wouldn't encourage it. Just because, I mean, one, you're licking perfume, like literal perfume, okay? I'm pretty sure on the bottles of any perfume it says, do not consume. And the thing is, at some point, as you put it on your skin, you just kind of let it sit for a little bit, and then you can give it a good smell, and then you'll know. But no, I don't encourage it, okay? Like, just let it sit on your skin for a little bit, and then you'll kind of get a feel if you like it or not. I don't think licking it is the ideal way of doing that. I don't, the idea of it just, and like I said, it was right before the pandemic. And so like, I'm just like, at some point, because we had so many different perfumes and scents for her to try on, I was like, she's running out of room on her hand. I'm like, how in the world is she like spraying each of these bottles? Okay. I don't know. I'm asking too many questions maybe, but still I'm like, I just was like, I just wouldn't do that myself. I just really wouldn't. It just kind of really grossed me out. Yeah, so that was one story of that. Oh, and here's another one. I was helping this one customer, and I was helping her look at these candles one time. And so this is the same place that I was working at the time. And, and at some point, I go up to her, checking in with her, and just saying, hey, how's it going? Like that kind of thing. You know, do you need help with it? And she starts filling me in. But yeah, no, I'm talking to this lady, and she's explaining about this candle. Like, I have her try, like, I think it's like the lotion or whatever that we had in it. And she's like, oh, I like that. But she's like, I just, I like to use the candle. And I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean use the candle? And she explains that she's like, I just like the scent in the candle like so much better than like your body care stuff. And I'm like, huh? And like at some part I'm like, oh yeah, I agree, because there's like different forms of like different scents that were like, oh yeah, these ones are totally better than other ones. And but she goes, no, yeah, I like this one on my skin. And I'm like, on your skin? Like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I wait for the candle to melt, and then I dip my hands in it and I rub it all over my hands. Guys, I wish you guys could have seen the look on my face, because I was like, so confused at first, and I was like, what, why is this lady, and I was dumbfounded. Okay, I didn't know how to respectfully tell this lady, like, what are you saying? Because I'd never heard of that before, and I was like, okay, especially since our candles are not made to be used as like a lotion, so I was like, I don't know what's going on here. It was weird. But yeah, so, and I was trying to tactfully tell the customer, oh yeah, I love our candles too, but they're not made for body care. Because she's just like, oh, I love, I just wait for the wax to melt and then I rub it on my hands, and my hands are so soft and they smell amazing afterwards. And so I'm explaining them like, well, the candle isn't actually meant to be used on your skin. It's a candle, and I'm like, it's got essential oils in it, it's got all these different things, and so it's not created to be used in your hands. And this lady was just, this older lady, she was just so happy to be like, to tell me about how great it was, and I was like, and so I really tried, but at some point customers can make their own choices in life, but in my head I was like, I do not recommend this. And I tried my best, and she just was totally fine with doing what she wanted to do. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you get interesting customer stories, and you just do the best you can, but you can only do so much. Oh, here's another funny one. So, whoops, next game. But yeah, okay, so for this next story, this is actually from my high school job where I worked at a movie theater, and it was really fun. You get to go see movies for free and eat popcorn for free basically the entire time that you work, which is really great and really, really addicting at the same time. But that's not the funny story. The funny story was actually, we were really busy. I think it was, what movies did we have playing? I think it was Despicable Me 2, Lone Ranger, and The Heat with like Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. I think those are the actors or actresses. And so it was a really busy weekend because we had shows for like every single person, for like age group and all that. So it was a really well balanced set of shows. But yeah, no, at some point it was just really, really busy, and we were selling out of all these different candies and stuff. And so as we sold out of each candy, we would we would fix the display so that way nobody would want to keep ordering the candy or know that it was an option. But the thing is, you can only do so much when it comes to pulling the candy back. So even if it's not like full on display, if a customer can still see part of it, they're gonna ask about it. So I was helping this one lady, and she had her kids with her, and we had this Kit Kat that was pulled like further back on the display, and it wasn't visible, so you had to kind of angle enough to like see it, but it was like underneath this one thing, so it was clearly that, you know, we weren't selling a Kit Kat, like, you know, we were out of Kit Kats. Okay, if it's not on the display, it's sold out. And this lady really wanted a Kit Kat though. She's like, oh, and I'll take a Kit Kat too. And I'm like, oh, and I like look because I'm like thinking maybe we just forgot to take it out of the display. And I'm like, no, it's completely out, like, you know, pulled out. So I'm like, okay. And I tell her, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, we're actually out of Kit Kats. And she's like, why? I can't have that one? And I'm like, because to myself, I know that when I work with like a whole bunch of other teenagers, like especially like the door guys, like the guys who take like the tickets at the door, like they'll do anything they can to take any candy, like any free candy they can, which includes the display candy. But yeah, so either the candy bar had already been eaten by the door guys and they just made it look like it hadn't been eaten, or the candy bar was so old that the door guys didn't want to eat it. And we're not supposed to sell a display candy because it's got like all the signs on it and stuff like that. Plus I'm just like, personally, I'm like, I just would not recommend it. Like, because like I said, okay, it could be really old or it could be cardboard, okay, because sometimes, like I said, the door guys, they just got really creative with making it look like there was still candy inside some of these things. And I just kept telling the lady, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't sell you the display candy. And she was like ready to fight me about it. I'm like, it's just a candy bar. It's just a Kit Kat. And I know Kit Kats can be good, but I'm also like, please, I'm like, I can't. And I did tell her eventually that I was like, ma'am, I was like, we can't sell a display candy. And I gave her a couple of reasons why. And she's just like, I want the Kit Kat. And I see it's right there. And it's just like, no, ma'am. Okay. Like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you this. But no, so sometimes customers can get really like angry about things, and like I can understand sometimes, but at the same time, like, please just don't yell at me. I'm just working here for like $8 an hour. This was, I don't know, almost 10 something. No, it was longer than 10 years ago. Oh my goodness. But yeah. All right. This will be probably the last. Wait, come back. This will probably be the last story for this video, at least. But yeah, okay. So this one, going back to my one job where we sold candles and stuff. Where we sold. I'm so good with words. Where we sold stuff, not sold, but sold stuff. Okay, never mind. Okay, prose is getting tired right now. But it's all right. Okay. This has been a writer's moment with prose. Oh yeah. Okay. But for this last story, this is going back to the one store where we sold candles and stuff like that. And I don't remember when this was. And this didn't actually happen to me. But I think I was in the back taking my break when this happened. And so it was like another employee that was dealing with it. But they came back to tell me and a couple other people about it because it was just one of those crazy stories. But yeah, no, this lady, she comes in and she marches in past all of what we actually sell, and she slams this item down on our counter, and it's a pizza maker, and she's like, I would like to return this. And from what I was told from the story, like I said, okay, I do feel a little bad that this actually didn't happen to me, so I can't describe it in complete detail, but they were both, because it was like my one coworker and then it was like our manager who was there, and they both were like, you can't return this. And she's like, this is where it came from, so you guys have to take this back. I want a return for this. And she's just like not, listening while they're saying, well, we think you have us confused with another store because we don't sell pizza makers here. And she like looked around. She's like, I don't see pizza makers. And it's like, yeah, no, there's no pizza makers here. I mean, trust me, we'd love pizza makers, but at the same time, this is not the store to buy a pizza maker at. So it just, I don't know. It's one of those situations where you're like, okay. And then apparently she was just so upset about this pizza maker that she got. And it was like the day after Christmas, I think. So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know the full story, but still I'm like, okay. I'm like, we don't sell pizza makers, and we can't take a pizza maker that's not ours, and do a return with it. But so I don't know. It was just one of those random things that you never think that you have to like you know, when you work certain jobs, you think, oh, we're never gonna face some odd, goofy story like this, and it's like, but the pizza maker story is pretty hilarious. I really wish I had been actually in the room when this happened. Like I said, I was just experiencing it like secondhand, but still. So she ended up just taking her pizza maker and just marching straight out of the store again. She was pretty upset from what I heard. But I'm like, we can't do anything. Sorry, guys, we just can't do anything. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this series of some funny retail stories I've experienced over the years. I do have a few more. I'm going to have to think about them a little bit. But if you guys want to hear more, just let me know down in the comments. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. And happy Thanksgiving, too. Bye!